Field of 68 after dark.
Welcome in on a Friday night, Freaky Friday, March 13th edition of Field of 68 After Dark. We are continuing to come to you live every night during the conference tournaments, obviously, as we're crowning some champions in these league tournaments. And then we got Selection Sunday on Sunday. So this is where you need to be, right here on Field of 68. And we've got tons of stuff coming for you. Obviously, Selection Sunday. You need to make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll have some more stuff in terms of contests that we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. We're on SiriusXM. We're on YouTube. We're on X. I'm John Martin. Rob Dauster with us tonight from Charlotte. Mike LaTulip with us in Chicago for the Big Ten tournament. Jeff Goodman, we hope, will join us a little bit later from the Big 12. But, you know, that's
no guarantees, John. There's never guarantees that Goodman's actually going to show up. And if he does, there's no guarantee he's not going to get kicked out of the venue.
That's right. That's right. So that's a touch and go situation. All right. Let's start, Mike, with the Big Ten. Obviously, a lot of action in the Big Ten today. And let's go with Wisconsin. 91-88 over Illinois in overtime. Obviously, career night for Nick Boyd. Fantastic game. Had everything you wanted. It was chippy. It was physical. Illinois had a chance there at the end. I believe it was Wagler had a shot at the buzzer. Thought it would go. And unfortunately, a little bit too long there back rim. This Wisconsin team, I'll give Rob a little credit. I don't like to do it, but I'll do it. He said Wisconsin 25-1 to win this Big Ten tournament was mispriced. I did agree with him, and you saw that on display tonight, Mike, how good this Wisconsin team can be when they're at their best.
Yeah, I said last night I thought this was the hottest backcourt in America, and my God, did they prove that tonight. I just think that this team is – and that group, that pairing in the backcourt for sure. But this team, I think, has just continued to show their toughness throughout the back half of the season and certainly in postseason play so far. And when you're here in person, you can really feel the alpha dog vibe that Nick Boyd gives off. And it was really right from the beginning of the game. I mean, they were just the tougher team tonight. They got Illinois on the glass. They were quicker to the ball, both on the glass and to the floor. And I think another underrated aspect of this group is how much the supporting cast really understands their job description. I thought you'll look at the 69 total points from Boyd and Blackwell, but Bilyaskis and Rapp, their physicality, the way they held up in switches, what they were able to do defensively, and then Rhodey is Rhodey's great, just getting things going from point A to point B, getting the ball to the second side to these guys that can attack Blackwell, Boyd. It's just, I don't know who would want to play them right now in a win or go home setting. So it's just a really cohesive group, and I think it's no surprise that they come in here into Chicago. They've knocked off a lot of big dogs so far this season, and that trend hasn't stopped.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing, Mike, is that that mindset that Nick Boyd has is kind of permeating the rest of that roster. Like, I don't think that he realizes that they're supposed to be the underdogs in these matchups. Like, I don't think that he understands that, like, Illinois is a top, 7 team in America. I don't think he understands going on the road playing Michigan. You're playing the number 1 team in the country. I think he goes in there thinking, no, I'm Nick Boyd. We're Wisconsin. We're the best team in college basketball. You got to deal with us. And I think that you see that kind of mindset go through the rest of the team. And then you're right. From the jump, we had the double text 29 seconds into that game. And the result was him just like clapping and firing. I think he was responsible for the first 10 Wisconsin points afterwards. They get down. It doesn't even matter. And what was most impressive to me, and you tell me if I'm just reading too much into it, They didn't need an outlier 3-point shooting game to win this, right? When they beat Michigan on the road, they hit like their first 8 threes in the second half. When they beat Illinois, they hit 16 threes. I think when they beat Purdue the other day, it was 15 for 34. They hit 18 in one of those big road wins that they got. They were 10 for 41 from beyond the arc. This wasn't like an outlier 3-point shooting performance. They just went out there and won with their defense, with their guards, and with their ability to get to the line.
Yeah, I think I heard the stat. It's their first win this year against a above 500 program shooting under 32% from three. And so they got there, and I thought when Illinois got up 15 in this game, that's where the switch really flipped for Wisconsin. It was bizarre. I mean, the fouling from Illinois, something they haven't done all season. They're tops in the country and not fouling. but all the fouls they were getting, it's just Wisconsin's beating them to the glass. And I think Illinois had 8 fouls tonight that were either from crashing the offensive glass and Wisconsin securing the rebound, or fouling 94 feet from the basket. So then you do a couple of those early in the second half, and then by the time Wisconsin hits that run, now they're really starting to get downhill, and you're reluctant to foul, and Boyd kind of has you in the palm of his hand, and so. But I agree with you, Rob. I think there's a part of Nick Boyd where certainly I think he comes into the gym and doesn't think anybody's better than him. But I also think he understands, like, hey, I feel kind of disrespected. Whether it was the all Big Ten voting and what he was able to do to close out the season. I think he knows that. He was talking about that after the game in the hallway by the media. Like the chatter don't matter, I think is what he said. And so he's just one of those, he'll find any edge. He'll find any edge that he can find to come into a game. I actually thought to start the game, he was talking to Kylan Boswell, and then him and Boswell got into it, and then he's like, that's all I needed. But I think he was the one that started it. So it's just those type of guys that are competitive like that. And I'll keep going back to what I said last night. That staff, like, I'm sitting up in the 300 level yesterday, all I could hear was Brad Davison. Like Brad Davison's voice, you can hear from the 300 level talking, and Joe Krabenhoff and Shreve Chambliss and Greg Steensma, like all these guys that wore the Wisconsin jersey that were crazy competitors as well. Those are the dudes that you're pairing Nick Boyd with. So it's just, I said it last night, but it's a great marriage between him and that staff.
Yeah, how about this for a stat, John? Wisconsin was 15 for 17. Wisconsin's guards, Nick Boyd and John Blackwell, 15 for 17 from 2 tonight. They got in the paint. They scored every time they got in there.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Let's talk a little bit about Illinois. Lost 4 times in February. Obviously, kind of, sleptwalk through that win at Maryland and lost today again. Wisconsin has some of the best wins in college basketball, Rob, but is this just sort of a natural ebb and flow for Illinois in the grind of Big Ten play? Is there something deeper? I mean, what do you sort of make of, I don't want to say struggles, but it's just not what it looked like in January for them?
I think it was the defensive issues, right? Like they're a good defensive team. They're not a great defensive team. And they kind of rely on being this, if they're not the best offensive team in the country, like there's not really much room for error when they're going up against other elite opponents. Like I think it's just that simple. You lose, like 4 of their losses are in overtime or by 1 possession. It's not like they're getting blown out. They just can't get those big clutch stops, right? They can't get those stops in those big moments. They can't close out possessions in those big moments, and they can't close out a game. And I think it's really just that simple, right? Like it's not like this is a bad team. It's like they're getting run out of the gym. It's not like their metrics are awful. They just can't get those possessions where they get the stops or they get the big shots in the moments where it's winning time. And I think that's the biggest problem with this team, Mike.
Yeah, I think at some point, 4 of their last 5 losses are in overtime. And at some point, that's not being on the bad side of luck. I think there's a lot of moments that you can go back to, whether it's the rebound that Michigan State gets for the kick out to Kurtang at the end of the game. UCLA gets a rebound at the end of that game. Blackwell gets a tip back today that he gets fouled on when it's, I think, 80-78 maybe, where you have a chance to potentially close out the game or go to the free throw line or get one more offensive possession. And I just think what I see when I watch this team is in those late moments, they're very reactive. And I don't want to say there's just a lot of thinking going on, but the thinking can kind of paralyze you a bit. And I think when you're just in the game, in the flow of the game, and you have that pursuit kind of locked into your mind, like you're not late to those rebounds, you're not late for the block out. And I think there's a reactiveness, I think, to how they've been in certain late game scenarios. And look, they went on the road to Purdue and they shut the door. They went on the road to Nebraska and they shut the door. And they were able to do that, I think, early enough with their shot making, really. And I thought they buckled down and got stops. But in some of these games that have gone into overtime, it's just been hard for them to wrestle momentum away from their opponents. And a lot of that, I think, comes back to what you're talking about, Rob, on the defensive end. When I watch all these teams, Michigan today, like all these teams, Duke, these teams that just when they know that they can get a stop, there's a different type of confidence I think you have late game. And so whether or not you can fix that going into a single elimination tournament in the NCAA tournament, we'll see. I mean, I think this team's plenty talented, like we talked about, the positional size, the shooting, all that stuff. But they got to find a way late game, I think, just to be less reactive. And I think if they can do that, I mean, all the other stuff's there. I mean, this matchup has been a rough one for them this season. Mm-hmm. And this game was a carbon copy of the one in Champaign. I mean, it was Illinois up by double digits. Wisconsin roars back. It goes into overtime. Wisconsin wins. And it's, unlike Purdue, who potentially had the same thing happen against Nebraska, they flipped it the other way, and Illinois didn't.
Yeah, let's talk about Purdue. Purdue, obviously, we've talked about the struggles at the very least against the spread in the Big Ten tournament for Purdue and Matt Painter. No such issue tonight. They handled Nebraska yet again. Obviously, they were up big on the road at that in that game. Earlier this season, ended up getting really, really freaky. They held on. No freakiness in this one. It was all Purdue. 74-58. Great game from Braden Smith. Fletcher Lawyer had 19. Rob, I don't know what it is about Nebraska, but if Purdue plays Nebraska 6 times in the NCAA tournament, they're winning the championship.
Well, it was, I think we kind of last night predicted how this game was going to play out, right? We were talking about how Northwestern put 2 on the ball and left guy open on the weak side corner, and that's kind of what allows Braden Smith to draw to them and then find the open guy. The ball swings and you hit open threes and you're going to be able to get up. And that's what happened in the first half, right? That's exactly what Nebraska does, and Purdue knows how to be able to beat that. Purdue knows how to figure that part of it out. Braden Smith 10 assists again. It was the kind of win that I think this group really needed to get their momentum going. And if you look at how the rest of this bracket in the Big Ten tournament breaks out, you got UCLA tomorrow, and that's a game that they can win. That's not like a terrible matchup for them. And if you can get past a UCLA team that may or may not be without Tyler Bilodeau, then you're heading to the Big Ten tournament championship game, and anything can happen in a one-game scenario. So it feels like this was the right time for Purdue to kind of get this thing going, because we had real questions about him, man. Like we talked about this. Both I talked about it with you, Mike. We talked about it, John, in the previews that we did. There were real questions about this Purdue team coming into the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah. And did they answer some of those questions, Mike? I mean, I guess that would be where we go. I mean, I think Nebraska that's clearly a good matchup for them. And that's part of it sometimes in college basketball. But they did go out and handle business tonight.
They did, and since we've been here in Chicago, like they've been the tougher, harder playing team in both games they played. And I think they're gaining confidence through just stacking games of unconditional effort, of less thinking, of just really, really quality defense. I mean, that's really what in the 2 games here in Chicago, that's been really the foundation. I mean, tonight they held Nebraska under 40% for, I think, only Nebraska's 4th time this whole entire year. It was the 2nd lowest paint point output for Nebraska as well. And so, and they helped each other out just within the structure of their defense. Those pick and pop threes that Nebraska gets from time to time, whether it's Sanford, whether it's Mass, like being able to full rotate at times. I mean, Lawyer was great at it. Cox did it a few times. They had an opportunity, like I said, for this to be a repeat of that game in Lincoln where they were up big and Nebraska crawled back into it. Nebraska tried that tonight, and they just shut the door on them. And I think Clough's physicality has been massive in these 2 games. I think Trakoff and Wren's physicality has been massive in these 2 games. And Braden Smith, I mean, he's just so special because he's so secure, and he's secure enough in himself where he can have back-to-back games now, 5 points last game, 5 points this game, which matches season low in points, and he doesn't care, because he just makes the right play, and he takes what the defense gives him. And if you're going to continue to play a certain coverage on him and they have answers on the backside, that's what he's going to get to. And so I just like, that's everything for this team with the way he's guarded. And it just opens everything up for these other guys. And Purdue's ascending, like they're ascending at the right time. And we talked about this last night, how much ground they could make up here in Chicago. They're on their way to doing that.
Mike, I want to ask you about that, because I honestly, I'm at a point where I think he's too good of a passer to put 2 on him. I think you have to guard him one-on-one. I think you have to find a way to be able to make him beat you one-on-one, whether that is switching ball screen, whatever it is. You can't just let him pick you apart. He's going to be able to find the open guy when you put two on him. It doesn't matter. He did it against Houston last year in the NCAA tournament, who's the best in the country at putting two in the ball. You can't do that against Braden Smith. I think you got to try to just stop him one-on-one and hope that you're able to do it. I don't think it works to put two on him.
Well, the problem in the last two games is Northwestern and Nebraska. Like, this is what they do. Northwestern, Nebraska. Like, this is what they do. And whether didn't matter who they rolled out there tonight at point guard. Like it could have been you, Rob. Like they were gonna put two on the ball most likely. And
Nebraska
worked
against me a lot better.
Well, I mean, you could just tell early in the game how quickly Purdue was able to get to their advantages because there's Nebraska's a damn good defense, but there is predictability in what they do, and you kind of know where you can get your looks from. And I think there was just a buy-in from this Purdue group to, like, once that ball got out of Braden's hands, it was a race to get it to the backside. And it may not have generated a shot, but it may have created a long closeout. And then that long closeout leads to a straight line drive and then another kick out. And so they were just, hunting those quality shots, and it starts with the guy up top.
Let's take a look at Dagan, if we can get that bracket up one more time, just before we hit the break here. If we could just preview the semifinals tomorrow. Michigan, Wisconsin. Michigan survives, obviously, against Ohio State and moves on. And obviously we talked about Wisconsin, Illinois. UCLA, Rob, you mentioned it, maybe no Bilodeau. It didn't look good. It didn't sound good after the game. But they do hold on against Michigan State. Obviously, they're taking on Purdue. So real quick, Rob, Michigan, Wisconsin. Can Wisconsin do this? Can they do it again? They handed Michigan their first loss in the regular season. Can they give them another one?
I mean, as somebody that's holding a 25-1 Wisconsin ticket for a Big Ten championship, I certainly hope so, John. But this is who they're kind of designed to be able to play against, right? Because they have bigs that can shoot, because they have size in the interior, and because their guards are able to take advantage of when you pull your bigs away from the basket. So I think that they got a punch of chance, man. I think that they can go out there and win this thing. I wouldn't have bet on them to win the tournament if I didn't think they could do it. Now,
well, you knew they were going to have to go through Michigan at some point, so.
Yeah, like they're going to have to. Like this is the kind of matchup that they're built for. Now, obviously, Michigan is a better basketball team than Wisconsin overall, but I just think they're kind of like this is what they're going to. We see this every year in one of these major conference tournaments where there's a team that kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit, goes and wins this, and then like drops the first game of the NCAA tournament and gets upset because they're like the adrenaline kind of they lose the adrenaline and it drops off. I thought Michigan didn't look great against Ohio State. I mean, obviously Ohio State's playing some of their best basketball right now, but that's a little concerning, the performance that they had. And yeah, I think Wisconsin finds a way to get it done, man. I'm riding with the Badgers. Why would you get off Bucky at this point?
Why?
Hard to argue. It's really hard to argue with witnessing what we've witnessed over the last few weeks or so. I mean, you go back to that matchup in Ann Arbor, 15 of 33 from three. That was the Bielyauskas coming out party. And honestly, like he may not go 5 of 10 from three tomorrow, but I've just been, again, so impressed with the physicality from him. Like he's gotten better since that Ann Arbor matchup, and it may not result in that same production from three, but it's going to show up in other ways, whether it's on the glass. I think they out rebounded by 1 against Michigan and Ann Arbor. They out rebounded Illinois today. Like that's been an area that they've kind of surged in the second half of the season. And Nolan Winter's the best rebounder, and he's been out. So I thought Michigan today. I think Michigan wins this game, but I just thought Michigan today against Ohio State they've done what they've done all year, and they strengthened their grip in the second half. I think Ohio State finished the game 6 of 24 from the field, and you just see like the quality looks evaporate when you play this team. And I think they're gonna be able to switch. Unlike Illinois today, they're gonna switch on Boyd and Blackwell, switch 1 through 4. We'll see what happens with Mara, but I trust this Michigan team and the floor that they have. Wisconsin 3 games in 3 days. But look, man, the tougher team has won in pretty much all these games in these settings. It's always the case. And if Wisconsin comes out and is the tougher team tomorrow, yeah, you're damn right. They got a fighter's chance.
Can I say one thing on Purdue, or I'm sorry, on UCLA before we go to the next segment? Just I feel so bad for Tyler Bilodeau because UCLA feels like a team that is kind of like Wisconsin clicking. Donovan Dent in the last 7 games has been absolutely phenomenal. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but he's got something like 104 assists and 5 turnovers in the last 7 games. He's had 1 turnover in his last 5 games as a guy that has the ball in his hands like almost the entire game. And the fact that this injury to the guy that's been, one of, if not their best front court players all season long, I really hope it's not as bad as Mick Cronin made it seem. Like he said, I think in the post-game interview on TV, he said, I'm going to be praying for him. It's really sad. He's going to get imaging tonight, I guess, is what I saw. Cronin said that. So, hopefully this is just something that doesn't look as bad as it kind of everyone is acting like it was. But hell of a performance by Donovan Dent, who finally looks like the guy that we thought was going to be an All-American. And Purdue, Braden Smith, UCLA, Donovan Dent, you got some good games tomorrow, Tulip. You got some really, really good semifinals.
And we had games today that you didn't think were going to be good games halfway through that ended up being good games. I mean, Michigan State made that a game, but you're right. Donovan Dent, I mean, his game against Purdue earlier in the season kind of turned the tide for him. I mean, he got in the paint, 23 points, 13 assists, but Bilodeau had the deciding shot in that game, and he really stretched them out. He was 4 for 8 from 3, so his health looms large tomorrow because there's an absolute world that UCLA could be sitting there in the championship game on Sunday.
Absolutely. All right, when we come back, Jeff Goodman is going to join us from Kansas City, maybe with some company. Stick around. Field of 68 after dark.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app. You sign up using bonus code FIELD. You deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. March Madness is here, and you know what that means. It's a time of excitement and a time when legends are forged. In other words, it's a time to wear chubby. Skies out, thighs out, baby. It's getting warmer. The clock's moved up an hour, and it's time for Chubbies. Chubbies was founded in 2011 by a group of friends with a simple mission: rid closets of uncomfortable clothes and put the fun back in functional fits. They set out to create shorts, trunks, and polos that put personality back into your wardrobe with fits that look good and feel even better. Chubby shorts aren't just insanely comfortable. They're built with premium fabrics that are quick drying, wrinkle resistant, and antimicrobial. Chubbies keeps you comfy, casual, and dangerously confident. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners a 20% off discount with code F68 at chubbiesshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with code F68. Give your thighs the VIP treatment that they deserve. Support our show and tell them we sent you.
Welcome back. Field of 68 After Dark, and Jeff Goodman has a guest, a very special guest, joining him in Kansas City. It's Houston guard Kingston Flemings. Let's get him in the frame here. Welcome.
All right,
to the
he's
show.
trying to get in here. Yeah, I don't think he wants to be near me. I don't think he wants to be near me.
Here right now.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. We got a good win.
You did. I mean, first half was good. Second half was terrific. I mean, you guys' defense absolutely smothered. I think they shot like 19% from the field in the second half. How'd you do it?
I mean, just staying and following the scout. I mean, get to the short rolls, helping everyone. I mean, they have great shooters on their team, but when we get out and contest hard, that's really what makes them hard shots. Then our focus has always been like make them make tough shots and don't foul them and get on the free throw line. So I mean, when you have Emmanuel Sharp guarding Darryn Peterson's a great player, but Emmanuel Sharp's also a great defender. So when you have someone like that, we're just behind him helping him, and then when we get the rebound, we had a pretty good defensive game.
Yeah, Sharp has had a few pretty good defensive assignments here, hasn't he?
Yeah, AJ and Darryn Peterson is crazy for sure.
We got to get his thoughts on that, right?
He's one of one. He wants all those assignments, and he does pretty good on them.
So now you get obviously an Arizona team that everybody's talked about all year being maybe the best team in the country. And tonight they played. I mean, I don't know if you saw the game. It was absolutely incredible. One of the best games I've probably ever seen. How do you beat Arizona, and what would it mean to be able to win a Big 12 tournament title here?
I think when you're playing Arizona, it's going to be a physical game no matter what. They bring in physicality every single time. So I think us matching that physicality and then going beyond that, following the scout, everything like that. I mean, they're a great team. They're for sure, I think, the best team in the country on any night. But on the hardwood, anything can happen. So I think coming out there with the right energy, right effort, and playing physical. They got three brutes inside, and they got Braden Burries, Jaden Bradley. I mean, they're a great Karchenkov. They have a great, like, well-built team. So I mean, come out there with the right effort and just trying to go out there and get the win.
How much fun for you has this year been? Because we've talked a couple times, but, you know, I don't think anybody thought you were a one and done even coming into this season. Did you? Did you think you were possibly a one and done, or were you like, I think the staff thought probably two?
I think just coming in the year, I always believed in myself, really. I think just coming in here, just trying to show people the player I am. I mean, I didn't really play on a big circuit, Puma the last year. I stayed in my public school, so I don't blame people. A lot of people didn't see me play. So I think just coming up here and just trying to prove myself. But I know the player I was. I know what I do, and I just come in here and just trying to win. If you win, people are going to see you. So playing for a team like Houston and contributing in any way, I mean, we still got a long way to go. We got to try to win this tournament. We got to win another tournament after that. So, I mean, just trying to do what I can for this team to win.
I love watching your relationship with Coach Sampson. Mm-hmm. You know, he'll rip on you. Yeah. And you're kind of smiling a little bit, right? Like how do you, I mean, this is a guy that kind of most people are scared of. Are you scared of him sometimes coaching, or do you have that relationship now where you can kind of go back at him and have a little fun with him?
Well, I'm not saying go back. I don't ever go back on Coach Sam, but I'm just saying you can't really be scared. I think really when you see him yelling, like people from the outside probably see him yelling crazy, but we know he's just so competitive. He wants to win the game. So I know whatever he's yelling me about, you know, like don't hear the yelling, hear the message he's giving me. So, I mean, just when he's yelling at me, I already know I did wrong. So I'm coming over there like, yeah, I got to do better. But, I mean, he believes in me. He believes in his team, and he just wants to win so bad. And I want to win the same way. So I think that's why we're a perfect fit.
So you always say when we talk to you, what's your comment? Your quote is always, I was unplayable.
Oh, unplayable.
That's your quote.
That happened twice, yeah.
So tonight, were you unplayable at any point?
I think I was pretty playable tonight. I mean, I think I did really good. Coach Samp, he actually congratulated me on my defense. That's first time this year. Oh, second time.
You got a big rebound in there early.
Yeah, I did.
You got a big rebound.
Yeah, second time he's congratulated me. So I think just following the scout. I mean, doing what I can. And when Coach Sam's really not a hard coach to play for. You just play hard, come with the right energy, and he's going to love playing you. So that's the main thing.
Well, listen, good seeing you.
Mm-hmm,
Hopefully
too.
I'll see you in Indy.
Yes, sir.
All right, say hello to your family for me.
I will.
And your sister's going to be she's going to be the star of the family.
For sure.
Right?
McDonald's.
There you go.
Play of the year.
There you go. All right, there he is. Kingston Flemings, Houston freshman.
I love that kid.
How do you not love that kid?
No,
Yeah.
you love him. You love him. Like honestly, he might be my favorite kid player in the country. Like he is just elite in every way.
You don't have to lie.
Bennett
I know he's right there. You don't have to lie.
Oh, Bennett Sturts is there too.
And
Bennett's with him. No. Bennett's with him. I mean, there are a lot of them. But that kid is one of one. He is one of one because he can look in the mirror and just be like, you know what? I wasn't. How many?
He had 21
I was
points.
playable.
And I was playable tonight. Like, yeah, of course.
Playable. What a quote. What a quote, right?
Hey,
Most
son
kids
of
would be
a
like, I was
firefighter and a nurse.
Kingston,
You know, he's a
Kingston,
humble kid.
you're an all-American. You're playable every single night, man. Like, what are we talking about?
He's a stud. He is an
I
absolute
love how
stud.
humble he is. By the way, let's just hit this game while we're on it. I mean, this was a shellacking.
Yeah, we don't
A
need to spend a lot of
shellacking.
time on it. Here's what I will say. As much as like you look at Houston and you're saying to yourself, they are kind of what we thought they've been, right? Like that's kind of who they are for the most part. When their guards are cooking and they can throw it in the post a little bit like they did tonight, it makes them a little bit different. Sanak was really good in the first half, but I'll tell you what, Rob, I know you've been on that Kansas wagon all year and you've been reluctant to jump off it. It's time. It's time. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to jump off the Kansas wagon before the NCAA tournament because this team, they're just too inconsistent. Yeah, you can do it all you want. This isn't the Darryn Peterson that you saw in AAU ball.
Nope.
This is not the same player, Rob. It's not. I promise you, it's not the same player.
Nope. I'm too stubborn. I'm I'm too stubborn. I'm gonna stick with it. Hey, look, I've gone all the way in. You can't like, I'm pot committed here. So yeah, Kansas. It was a good thing for them to lose. They needed to get smacked a little bit to get humbled and get refocused. This was a good loss.
I don't know.
Can I say one more thing? Can I say one more thing about Peterson? I've been here the last few days. I've seen Darryn play a couple times. I've seen AJ play a few times. There's tons of NBA guys here. Tons of NBA guys. GMs, execs, scouts. I'll say this. Number one, again, this isn't the Peterson that I kind of recognize that I saw in the AU circuit. It just doesn't look quite the same, even though he's played, 6, 7 straight games without any injury issues. I've talked to the NBA guys, and almost every one of them now has said to me they would take AJ dybantsa over Darryn Peterson with the number 1 pick. And if you watch, it's not even close. If you're watching the two of them right now and you haven't had that past kind of vision of what Darryn was before, and hopefully he'll get back to that. But if you didn't know that, if you just came here and watched them for the last few days, you'd be like, it's not even close between the two.
Wow. That represents a change out of you, I got to say.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'm like the last one. And I was the first one to say Darryn was number 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's hit what was just an unbelievable game. I believe 11 straight possessions at the end of this game. A shot was made, including a Jaden Bradley game winner that I don't know if either of you had a chance to. I mean, you were there, Goodman, but obviously watching on TV, it was a lot closer than I thought it was in terms of getting having him release it. And we didn't see a replay really at all. Yeah, it looked like that should have been at least reviewed, and we didn't get that. But obviously it was good, and Arizona wins. Just an unbelievable game of shot making. So, Jeff, we'll just come back to you. This Arizona team, man, they just refuse to die.
This was a high-level game from the start, pretty much, right? I mean, you came out, Iowa State came out swinging. They were terrific early, and I was a little worried about Arizona. They weren't making shots early. Iowa State's defense was terrific, and then Arizona kind of hung around and crept back in it, and they really did it with Anthony Delorso. Like, he was terrific. Braden Burries, it was the first time maybe all season I've seen him like he was tonight, and it was right away. Right away he was off. And Koa Pete was solid, but not great. And Delorso kind of kept him in it, but I thought also the guy that probably didn't get enough credit for kind of keeping him in it and changing the game was Toby Awaka. He was awesome. On the glass, in the paint, fighting, finishing, rebounding, all the dirty work, all the little things, and really put Krivas on the bench a little bit in the second half, which was surprising. But Arizona was able to kind of, obviously we saw Karchenkov was phenomenal. He did everything. He made shots, which is something that he doesn't normally do at this rate. Great passer, great defender. We know that. Great glue guy. And then at the end, it was just like boom, boom. Like Milan was, he's ridiculous. The way they were going back and forth, it was just so much fun to watch. And I'm watching and I'm just thinking, like, man, this game, like, it should be in the Final Four. Like, imagine this game in Indy in Lucas Oil, and the atmosphere was phenomenal because, again, you had a heavy, heavy, heavy Iowa State crowd here, probably 90%. And I think that was something that obviously Tommy Lloyd wanted to see. Like, how is this team going to respond in these settings against potential, obviously against, Iowa State and then potentially Kansas, who, again, has most of the crowd here tonight. But Arizona, man, like, I'm in. I'm all the way in. It took me a while to get there. I'm all the way in on this Arizona team now. I am.
Thank you.
That's all it took. That's all it took was getting to this game.
That's
right?
very brave.
The Big 12 tournament championship game.
I'm the last one.
31-2. You're the last one. You're the last one to give up on Darryn Peterson, and you're last one on the Arizona bandwagon. Yep. Look,
that's true.
I think personally, in terms of like which team this game said more about, I honestly think that it's Iowa State, because we had questions about how good Iowa State was heading into this tournament. And, you beat the brakes off an Arizona State team that's kind of just playing out the season. And then you blow out a Texas Tech team that doesn't have JT Toppin and lost Christian Anderson. Like those, okay, right? They're way with Jaden Bradley, man. The amount of like big shots that he hit down the stretch. I love that Tommy Lloyd left with multiple timeouts in his pockets and just kind of said, we're going to let Jaden Bradley go out and finish it. He's being guarded by Killian Torrey, who's one of the best on-ball defenders in the country. Yeah, you know what? Just let Jaden go out there and figure it out. There's a reason that dude's a Big 12 player of the year. 15 points, 7 assists, no turnovers. He never gets sped up. He never forces anything. And like how many game-winning shots has he hit this year in these big non-conference matchups? Like he just bides his time, waits until it's crunch time, and goes out there and makes game-winning plays. I saw a stat today in clutch moments this season. He's 12 for 22 from the floor and 12 for 14 from the free throw line. The dude is just stone cold nails. He's why the biggest reason why I think Arizona is a team that can win a national championship. They have all those other things. Like they have the guards, they have the bigs, they play defense, they do all those other things, but they got it's kind of the opposite of what we see we talked about this with the Tulip, John, a little earlier with Illinois. They got a dude who is built for those moments when it's winning time, and he just, there's nobody better in the country than him in those moments.
Yeah, we actually had a chance to catch up with Arizona coach Tommy Lloyd. Let's go to that interview after he got the win against Iowa State tonight, 82-80.
All right, Tommy, you've been doing this a long time. I don't know, 40 years or so? That's an epic game, though. I mean, that's an all-time game against a big-time team in an unbelievable atmosphere.
No, it was special, and I'm glad it was like that, because yesterday, I mean, obviously the arena we played early, it didn't have that. When he was kind of waving everybody down, I'm like, okay, yeah, we know worst-case scenario. But why I'm so proud of him, we know we got a special group, but we also know, hey, if we don't play the right way, I mean, we're susceptible like anybody else. So, hey, let's stay the course, and tomorrow's going to be a great challenge, and let's see if we can come out and give great effort.
You're going to check the PSI on the ball tomorrow?
No, I'm just going to squeeze it with my fingers and just a little squeeze, and then you get a little thumb indent in there, But no, hey, I want to obviously, so people don't know this, Goodman and I got after each other yesterday. I got after him. Jeff Goodman is like, your old best friend that comes back home, and now you're married, and he walks in the house, and he opens the fridge and asks your wife, what's for dinner?
What are you saying? Are you saying I have no tact?
No tact, but I love you.
That's fair.
I do love you, and I appreciate that we have that relationship.
Can we go back to the old days of remember when you yelled at me at halftime of the Gonzaga game? Because
yeah, but you probably deserve that because you were. I mean,
are you saying you deserve nothing? Are you saying everything's always my fault?
I might be above the fray a little bit. Yes, it might be your fault.
By the way, what does he mean by that? You're the best friend that leaves and comes home. He's married, and you ask what's for dinner.
I think he's saying that again. I have no tact, like that. I'm going to ask
so
Yeah, well, sometimes, but I will say this: the interviews are pretty much always entertaining. You never know what you're going to get.
You're like a pitcher with a knuckleball. It's like but it's all you throw. It's all you throw. You don't throw any fastballs over the middle of the plate. It's just all knuckleballs from Goodman. So, yeah. Listen.
Can I say this?
Okay, sure.
How good a job Tommy Lloyd's done at Arizona, since taking over for Sean Miller. I think this is their best chance to get to a Final Four and win a national title in 20 years. They have a team that can win it defensively. They have a team that can score. They've got, 7, 8 guys that all know their role. You talk to anybody in this program on or off the record, and they'll say the one thing, like the chemistry is unbelievable. There's a guy there who's been around the program for 30 years, and he said it's the best he's ever seen, and that includes some of those Lute Olson teams that, again, went very deep in the NCAA tournament. So what Tommy Lloyd's done, incredible. Obviously, the next thing is can they get to the Final Four, and really getting to the Final Four would be special for this group, but they got their eye on winning the whole thing, and they should.
Yes, agreed, Rob. I mean, I just don't. I think they're making the championship game. I mean, it's a question of, is Michigan on their side of the bracket? Are they going to, I just feel like at some point, other than the 2 straight losses, like what are you waiting to see with this Arizona team? Like, they are tough, they defend, they have experience, they have leadership. I don't really know what we're waiting for with them.
I mean, you're not waiting for anything. The big question is going to be like, I said this the other day. When you watch the top 4 teams in the country, right? It's Duke, it's Michigan, it's Arizona, and it's Florida. And every time you watch them, I come away saying exactly what you just said, John. Like, how is this team not making the national championship game? Like, who's beating this group? How are they going to get knocked off before you get to Indianapolis? How are they going to get knocked off at all, point blank period? And I think it speaks to how good the top 4 teams in college basketball are this year. So the question is, how are they not going to make the national championship game? Because to do that, they're going to have to beat one of those other 4 teams, and all 4 of them can beat each other, right? So I mean, it's just, if you don't win the national title this year, if they get knocked off in the Final Four, like, there's not going to be any shame in that because of just how good this Final Four is going to end up being. I think it's the same thing you look at last year, right? Like, how good was that Auburn team? And they got beat in the Final Four. How good was that Duke team? And they got beat in the Final Four. Like, that could end up happening this year with with these 4 teams. So,
by the way, before we send it to break, Goodman, I want to piggyback off of that point, and it's a small sample, but this is now 2 straight years where we're going to be going into the NCAA tournament and we're going to be saying it's 4 teams and that's about it. I mean, could you make a case for Houston? Sure. I mean, could you make a case for Iowa State? I mean, they put up a hell of a fight tonight, but it took them making like 5 straight shots to stay in, especially some circus ones from Momcilovic. Is this going to be the way it is in college basketball in the future with rev share and the way the money has kind of gotten out of control at the top?
Yeah, I mean, again, unless some of these other schools step it up, yeah, I think there's a significant gap, and that's kind of the way it's been. And you're going to have the haves and the have-nots for the most part. And the biggest worry is that going to result in less upsets in the first and second round of the NCAA tournament? We had it last year, right? We didn't have a ton. Right. I can't wait to see kind of what happens here. If it's a repeat performance of a year ago in the NCAA tournament, yeah, you start to worry a little bit because, again, you're talking about the high majors are just, they're taking whoever they want from the mids. And
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think that's what it is. I think the issue, that's part of it. But I think the bigger issue is that what used to happen, the reason why we went through that period where we had like the Wichita States and the Butlers and the George Masons and all of these teams that were double digits, the Florida Atlantics, these teams making the Final Four kind of out of nowhere, is there was a age gap. So the mid-major teams, the lower level teams, were 22 and 23. They had 4th year and 5th year guys, right? So you had grown-ups playing against these uber talented freshmen and sophomores that weren't quite ready and didn't like get the experience made up for the talent gap. But now you look at all the high majors and like they're 22 and 23. And yes, some of them are coming from the mid-major ranks. Some of them are coming from overseas. Some of them are like Yaxel Lendenberg or LeBaron Filan or Tommy Hawk or Alex Condon or guys that could have gone to the NBA and came back because you make more money in college than you do as a early second round pick, or in Yaxel's case, a guy that would have been like a top 25 pick in the draft. So to me, it's not that the mid-majors are getting farmed as much as it is the result of that is all of the high major programs are now just as old. So you have grown men in the mid-major ranks. They're not playing kids. They're playing other adults that happen to be more talented. And it's very difficult to beat guys that are your same age that are more talented.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's more about the portal than it is in the NIL, although I know they're kind of very closely related. But it definitely does seem like that has whatever the opposite of equalize is. That's kind of what we're seeing in college basketball right now. No doubt about that. All right, we're going to come back. It was a historic night in the SEC as a team that everybody left for dead. I mean, are you serious? It was one of the biggest disappointments in the SEC this year, and they are dancing as a double-digit seed, and it was more greatness from a John Calipari guard. We'll get to that when we get back. Go to 68 After Dark.
We are running it back with Splash Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, the Survivor contest that we hosted with Splash paid out $40,000 to the winner. This year, the grand prize pays out a guaranteed $100K. For just $25 an entry and up to 133 entries, you can get a chance to prove that you are smarter than the field of 68. Survivor is the future of March Madness. Just pick one team every day of the tournament to win, and if they do, you advance. The catch? You can only use each team once. We're also hosting a free-to-enter bracket on Splash. If you're looking to host one of your own, Splash can handle everything for you, from the entries to the payouts to the standings. We'll be running it back with the Sweet 16 Survivor contest as well for those that do not survive the first weekend. And Splash is now offering Quick Picks, a daily fantasy game that allows you to predict whether a player reaches a certain number on a specific stat. All links are in the description below. The big dance starts soon. Get in before it tips off.
Hey everyone, Jeff Goodman here, and I'm excited to tell you about what's going on with our partners at Voodoo Rangers. You know what makes March even better? Chaos. That 111 seed that nobody believed in suddenly ruining everyone's weekend. And this year, Voodoo Ranger wants you to bet on 11. Grab a can of GeForce IPA with 11% ABV, then register that beer at bet11.com. If an 11 seed advances, you have a chance to win a juicy prize, $11,000. We're also taking a trip to Vegas, exclusive GeForce merch. And if an 11 seed pulls off an upset, 1,100 fans could win cash for their next round. It's the juiciest bet of the tournament. No brackets, no stress, just cold beer and beautiful chaos. Visit beton11.com to enter. Win or lose, still got beer. Learn more at bet11.com. You must be 21 or older. No alcohol purchase necessary. Legal in all 50 states. Full rules at beton11.com.
Welcome back. Field of 68 After Dark. We're here on Sirius XM for about 10 more minutes, and we're going to move over to the afters and hit whatever we miss in the main show. John Martin, Rob Dauster, Jeff Goodman here with you tonight. Listen, it's Friday. In some places it's Saturday. That means we're a day away from Selection Sunday. And as you guys know, we're going to have you covered for basically the entire afternoon. So starting at 5:30 Eastern, we're going to be live here on Field of 68. We're going to be breaking down the entire bracket. We will be running until midnight Eastern. We're going to be breaking down the bracket with every single one of our analysts, including myself. So make sure that you are here spending that afternoon with us on Sunday. I'm begging Rob to give me a betting show. It's not going well, but I'll probably talk about some bets I'll make on the tournament at BetMGM. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. All right, SEC. Let's hit the SEC. Darius Acuff, man, just another brilliant night for him. Let me pull up his numbers here just so I have them. 37 points in 40 minutes, 11 of 21 from the field. Jeff Goodman, 5 of 9 from 3. Obviously hit a big shot at the end there that looked kind of like a circus shot. But for him, we practiced that shot. We expect to make that shot.
This is why Arkansas is dangerous in the NCAA tournament, because you talk about those guys, right? Who are they that can kind of carry a team? And, you know, usually it's a guard, it's a wing, it's somebody who can get hot and just – he's done it all year, though. Like, that's the thing with Darius Acuff is you take him off this Arkansas team, and I don't know how, you know, they might be a fringe tournament team because he's been there every single night, and he's coming off this ankle injury. And to do what he did tonight, 37 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, hits, like you said, the biggest shot of the night, in a game that I think, you know, they played with their food a little bit because they didn't really need it that much. Like, it's not going to affect them all that much in seeding wise. Obviously, they want to win an SEC tournament. Oklahoma's playing for their lives here, right? Like, they had to win this game. And if they did, they may still get in. They may, who knows? Everybody else was horrible in the bubble, as we talked about the other night. But, you know, the bottom line is they win this game, Oklahoma, you're thinking like, yeah, we punched our ticket. But, man, Acuff is as good as it gets.
Yeah, he was John, the thing that's so impressive to me about Darius Acuff is that the efficiency is there. And we talk about this over and over and over again. But the fact that he's able to do it with the amount of usage that he has, right? Like, everything runs through him. The ball is in his hands the entire game. And he's not there's no the shot selection is not poor. Like he's making the right decisions coming off of ball screens. And yes, he could be. There's times where you're like, all right, like you got to reel this back in a little bit, but it's also he makes some of those shots that he's not supposed to make. Like you don't want to take that confidence away from him. And I feel like we go through these moments with him where we're like, oh, look at this great point guard, look at this performance, and he did this and he did that. And I just feel like we've gotten to the point where you can't say anything like that is too you can't laud him enough for the work that he's done in the games that he's had and the performance that he's had. So if you're like, get excited if you're an Arkansas fan, man. Like that's the kind of thing that you're going to need, right? When it comes down to it, we just talked about how we expect 4 number 1 seeds. Like that kind of feels like where this is headed, right? 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. Well, you want to know how you avoid a situation where you have 4 1 seeds. You want to know how you pick someone off. Darius Acuff going for 49 points like he did against Alabama on the road. Darius Acuff going for 37 points and 5 assists like he did tonight against Oklahoma. Like that is the kind of guy, that is the kind of player, that is the kind of performance that can flip one of these games and can send a team like in Arkansas, who I believe is, I think we have him as a 4 or 5 seed right now and fielding the 68 and put them in the NCAA tournament.
By the way, like that's a hard ass game to win. I know they were favored, but like that's a hard game to win if you're Arkansas, because like Goodman said, you're seeing these desperate teams that are just trying to make their final last gas pitches for the NCAA tournament, you know, and this Oklahoma team has been pretty hot over the last 2 weeks of the season. So for Arkansas to kind of just be lying in wait there, and I know Acuff didn't play against Missouri, I think that was a hell of a win for them. They didn't cover the number, you know. I have to forgive that, but I think just to come out with the win is more impressive maybe than people will give it credit.
Well, you're right, because Oklahoma's been one of the hottest teams in the sport. They've won 6 in a row coming into this game, and I got the numbers right here in front of me. Right, like they're going to be a really, really interesting bubble selection. 47 in the net. Their predictive metrics are all low 40s. Ken Palm is 41. Their resume metrics, the WAB, it's not WAB, I found out today, it's the WAB. They're 47. The strength of record is 44. They are 4-10 against quad ones. They won at Vanderbilt. They got a win at Texas. They beat Texas A&M on a neutral in the conference tournament. And their bad losses are road losses in the league play at South Carolina, at Mississippi State. It's just the amount of losses that they have. They have 15. They're 19-15 on the season, which is not all that much different than Auburn. But somebody with a record like that is going to end up dancing, whether it's Oklahoma, whether it's Texas. I will tell you, if Auburn gets in, or if Texas gets in, or if one of these other teams on the cut line finds their way in, what they have to do is they have to write a thank you note. And they're going to have to send it to Darius Acuff and send it to John Calipari, because Arkansas winning this game is going to be the reason one of those other bubble teams gets in the tournament. If Oklahoma won today, they might have as well have been a lock.
Yeah.
So the only thing I worry about quickly, John, the only thing I worry about is they're playing 7 guys, and now they're probably going to advance to the SEC title game. So I don't love that about them. I almost felt like, to be honest, they might need a little more rest, and they're probably not going to lose tomorrow to Ole Miss.
Goodman, Ole Miss is not. They're never going to lose again. Ole Miss might win a national championship.
Do you have any idea what you have just said?
Yes, Ole Miss is winning the national title.
He just glossed over the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you?
What the hell is wrong
if they do win tomorrow, I'm sure I'll hear it from Chris Beer, because I'll be in the arena at Bridgestone.
I think this conversation is so massive that we have to save it for the afters. I think it's just that big with this Ole Miss basketball turnaround. Let's hit Florida really quickly. Todd Golden's talking his shit. Says we have played Kentucky 3 times. We've never trailed at all. They did it again today. They were up by, I think, as many as maybe 17 or 18 in the second half. It was full control by Florida in this. When we talk about, again, those top four teams in the sport right now, Florida, Jeff Goodman, has put themselves in that conversation over the last 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say enough about what Todd Golden's done, because, you know, again, like, repeat, like there's a real chance here. Like we forget, we kind of ruled them out the first quarter of the season. I think a lot of people were like, nah, there's no way. Look at these guards. And he's really found a way to get these guys confidence, develop them. Again, they get the sweep, the 3 games against Kentucky, and they win all 3. No surprise there. But this team just plays so hard all the time. Like, that's the thing with their front line. You watch Micah Handlogden today, diving on the floor, saving the ball, then catching an offensive rebound and slamming it home. Like, these dudes don't take plays off, and that's what gives them a chance again to win the national title.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, any thoughts from you?
They're so dominant in and around the basket. Just so dominant on both ends of the floor. They are the best team at the rim in college basketball, and that includes Michigan, who's got a Dymara.
Yeah. All right. How long we got left, Dagan? All right. 10-second toast, Jeff Goodman.
I mean, Jaden Bradley, that shot right in front of me. It was
Big 12 player of the year.
My camera work was special. My camera work was special too.
Your camera work made me just so happy that Sam Lambs was there. But yes, my toast of the night has to be Jaden Bradley for that shot, and honestly, like Milan Momcilovic too for the shots that he hit.
Yes. As a co-toast, we're going to have to take a minute to consider that and weigh it. We're going over to YouTube and X. Thanks for being with us on SiriusXM.
Taking care of your mental health shouldn't be harder than taking care of your physical health. If you pull a muscle, you go see a doctor. But when it comes to finding the right therapist, suddenly it's frustrating. You've got long wait lists or you're staring down huge out-of-pocket costs. That's where Rula comes in. Rula makes therapy simple, affordable, and fast. They work with most major insurance providers, and the average session copay is just $15. And with Rula, you're not matched and left to figure it out. They check in and they make sure that you're actually making progress. Every therapist on the platform is licensed, vetted, and picked for their expertise. So you know you're talking to someone legit, not whoever happens to be available. You answer a couple questions and Rula connects you with an in-network provider who actually fits your needs. You can be talking to a therapist as soon as the next day. Thousands of guys have already used Rula to get the care that they need. Don't keep putting it off. Go to rula.com/F68 and get started today. That's RULA.com/F68. Take the first step, get connected, and take control of your mental health. The 2026 NCAA March Madness Men's Tournament is back, and it's guaranteed to keep you dancing every night. The biggest events in college sports is finally here, and TNT Sports has you covered from the opening tip to the final buzzer and everything in between. Keep up with all the heart-pumping, show-stopping craziness of March Madness across TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV, and the March Madness Live app as we march all the way to Indianapolis. And this year, the men's Final Four returns to TBS on April 4th and April 6th. Catch all the clutch shots, big-time plays, upsets, Cinderellas, Blue Bloods, and more that keep you on the edge of your seat. You're not going to want to miss a second of the action, so tune into the NCAA Men's First Four starting Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on True TV and in the March Madness Live app.
These my DJ Burns shades I had for. That was like taking them into the depths of Alaska and just dropping them off.
The first person that's gonna die gotta be one of the black guys. They're not gonna make it to the end of the movie.
That's like asking somebody, do they want to get a prostate exam or a damn gunshot wound?
This is the Afters, Field of 68 After Dark on YouTube, on X. Rob Dauster, Jeff Goodman, John Martin. Hey, really quickly, before we get started, sign up with our Survivor Pool, Splash Sports. We've got a $100,000 grand prize. All you got to do is check the link in the description below. All right, join it. It's $100,000 grand prize. What else? What else are you doing? So make sure you check that out for this is the NCAA tournament, right, Rob? I assume.
Yes.
NCAA tournament. So
no, we're doing it for football season next fall.
Well, there's no CIT. There's no CIT. So,
CBI.
Oh, sorry.
We got the Crown Survivor Pool, John. The Crown Survivor Pool. Who doesn't want to do a Crown Survivor Pool?
Norlander's trying to get in the frame.
CBS. Hey, what's going on?
Morty.
Hey, by the way, Dauster said I could crash it. This is an annual rite of passage here.
What would you like to say, Norlander?
We are going to have an incredible Selection Sunday show on the Ion College Basketball Podcast on Sunday. But we appreciate all the great work that's done here with the Field of 68. This guy right here, you should have seen what he was just devouring on press row every single night. It was honestly, it was impressive. But,
Matt, what was
Dauster,
his dinner
I
tonight?
missed you, bud.
What do you have for dinner tonight?
What
He
was-
didn't see it.
I
He didn't see
didn't.
it.
You know
It was
what?
hot
Here's the
hot tamales and Mentos.
That's brutal. See, I was writing a story. I still have to write. So I can't
luck
just go
to
to.
you.
I
All
can't
right,
go to
go
the
right.
conference.
All right, go right.
There you
Get the hell out of here.
See you in
There you
Orlando.
have it.
Remember, that's the Ion College Basketball Podcast on CBS Sports.
Man, that's crazy. That's
Hot
crazy.
tamales and Mentos. It's so
What's tonight?
It's
Yeah.
so bad.
Hey, you
man.
gotta do
so
a
bad.
way better job. You really fell short
I
in
know.
that 30 seconds. I kind of felt bad the whole thing. He's on your network promoting his shit.
I know. Well,
I mean, you gotta
sometimes you feel bad for Nerdlander. Sometimes you feel
no,
bad.
you're right.
So
You're right.
you
Less-
gotta
the less
placate
fortunate.
him a little
Absolutely.
bit.
Absolutely.
I
All right.
love.
right.
I told him to do it. I told him to do it because I love how annoyed you get whenever he does it. It's my.
I actually
it's
didn't get
just-
annoyed
you
at
get so
all.
mad. I know you get so mad.
I'm not annoyed.
I'm a little
I've made
disappointed.
a lot of
You ruined my
friends over the
trolling.
last couple of days. I've
Yeah,
made friends
that's
with
beautiful.
referees,
Yeah.
coaches, a little bit of everybody. It's been a good
All right.
day.
Well,
of
speaking of
apologizing.
coaches, lots of action today, Jeff. Coaches staying, coaches not getting fired. So let's just kind of run through the list of the big topics. I guess let's just start with. I'll just throw him out there because he was kind of the big fish, right, of the coaching carousel, or was thought to maybe be that if he was available. Josh Schertz signing an extension at St. Louis, which maybe was a surprise or not. You tell me.
Not really a surprise given the jobs that were available, right? There just weren't any elite jobs that popped open. And if you remember, Josh Schertz a couple of years ago, Louisville was in the mix. He ended up going to St. Louis, done a great job. But, Syracuse was one, but they didn't make a hard push for him, according to my sources. And, this is a guy that, again, if he keeps it going at St. Louis, and he got paid, I mean, you're talking 6 years, almost $22 million. So he got paid there. The question is, what was the buyout? That's the biggest thing. And I'm told that it's reasonable in a sense that in a year from now, if a big-time job comes up, he could probably move. But again, Syracuse, Kansas State, Providence, none of these are top 25 jobs. None of these are jobs that you see yourself having a chance to go to a Final Four with. And for Josh Schertz, it's if he's leaving, he's going to try to find a job that he can go to a Final Four, and that just didn't make sense.
Yeah, real quick, and I'll let you go on Capel after this. The thing with Schertz is he has enough of a track record starting at Lincoln Memorial and building that up, going to Indiana State and building that up, and now what he's done at St. Louis that he doesn't. It's not like I make the comparison to Andy Enfield, right? Where if you're Andy Enfield and you make it to the Sweet 16 with FGCU, like you gotta strike while the iron is hot there, right? Because that's not going to be something that is going to be replicable. But I think that when you're at St. Louis, which is like one of the probably 2 or 3 best jobs in the A10, right? It's them, it's VCU, and it's Dayton. Then you're going to be able to consistently win. You're going to finish at the top of that league. And if you finish at the top of the A10, you have at minimum a chance to be able to make an at-large bid. So he's going to continue to have success. They lose Robbie, but they bring back a lot of pieces from that roster. So it makes sense to sit tight, wait, continue winning there, and bank $3.6 million in St. Louis. Money goes a long way. It's almost as much as Sam Lance makes, Jeff.
That's right.
All right. Well, Jeff Capel has a big buyout, and that's pretty much why he's returning at Pitt. So what can you tell us about the situation there at Pitt, Jeff?
Well, the biggest thing was athletic director Alan Green kind of went through the process. I'm told he even talked to some candidates throughout the process and ultimately decided, again, the candidate pool, while the schools, the openings aren't great, the candidate pool doesn't blow people away as well. And if he felt like he could maybe get a big-time fish, a guy that he just absolutely loved, I think he might have made the move here. But $15 million, that's the number.
That's a
to
lot.
buy Jeff Capel out. And, my sources say that Jeff Capel went into this meeting thinking he was going to be done. And instead, Alan Green told him, you know what, I'm going to keep you for another year, and we'll see what Jeff Capel can do, because he doesn't have a ton of resources there at Pittsburgh, but he gets one more year to see if he can maybe do what he did 4 years ago, which is get the Panthers into the NCAA tournament when nobody thought at that point he would do that.
Yeah,
$15 million to go hire somebody after Kansas State, after Cincinnati, after Syracuse, and after Providence when Josh Schertz has said he's coming back. Like that's, I don't know, smart decision in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think Brian Hodgson was the guy. Just so you guys know, I think Brian Hodgson was probably the guy that he wanted, right? And Brian Hodgson likely, to me, it's probably Providence is the job that I think he ends up at this point. You know, we'll see what Syracuse does. If they made a big push for him, maybe. But I think Providence is the one. I said it for 2 weeks here. Fits them. They got money. They got an AD that can raise money. Don't know if he can pick coaches. But if he picks Brian Hodgson, I think I feel a lot better about his track record.
I have concerns just because it's such a small sample. But I mean, if he is this guy, he came into the American and dominated it from year one. I mean, he created beat Memphis 3 times or 2 times, I should say, but it felt like 3. Yeah,
Is that hard to do?
Everybody beats Memphis, but still, yeah.
John, I just want to point out that Goodman. This is what Goodman does. Like, if you actually have a conversation with him about coaching stuff that he doesn't want anyone, he'll be like, just so you know, and then give you some insider information. And he just told us, he said, just so you guys know, me and you, John, and the 700 people that are currently watching live, the 10,000 people that are going to watch on demand on YouTube, the more than 10,000 people that will listen to it in a podcast audio feed, and the 70,000 people that end up watching it on Twitter, you guys are going to know as well. So just so all of us know, Jeff Goodman just gave you a little insider information. So
thank you for that.
I feel like sometimes you forget like the audience that we're talking to right now.
Yes. I think I'm just talking to the 2 of you slapdicks. You're right.
That's right.
You're right.
And then is that it? Is that did we have anything else today?
Wes Miller was let go today. Yeah, Wes Miller was let go today, and it was kind of expected after everything that happened here at the Big 12 tournament, how it went down. For a minute there, they were playing so well that it looked like John Cunningham was going to be able to keep his guy, the guy he hired 5 years ago. But ultimately, we saw Cincinnati wasn't going to make the NCAA tournament. Cunningham, you can't wait on these things. That's the other part. You can't really wait. Now, he might have been able to a little bit longer, only because I think his guy is going to be Jared Calhoun at Utah State. And, they're going to make the NCAA tournament. So, but everything moves quick now, guys. The big difference in the coaching carousel now is like ADs are interviewing candidates while the coach is still employed and hasn't been fired. And candidates have to make decisions while they're still coaching their teams. Publicly, they're not going to come out very often, if at all, and say they've taken another job. But, Jared Calhoun's likely going to be the target for Cincinnati. It makes sense. He was a student assistant there. He went to school there.
Yep.
He's got a Bob Huggins connection. So this one makes all the sense in the world for Cincinnati. Can I throw a quick nugget out on my favorite former local school at the Connie Forum, Boston College? Give you some names there before we go.
Yes, please.
Couple names. Joey Gallo at Merrimack. We know I've promoted the hell out of because I do.
You really have.
I do that usually like once a cycle. It's like once a cycle where I'll say like, that's the guy they should hire. Just when I know it's so easy and it's like, don't overthink it. Blake James, the AD. Don't. I know BC better than you know BC. I grew up in Boston. I've been going to a lot of games. Don't overthink it. Just hire Joe Gallo at Merrimack. I'm not sure he's going to. A bunch of other guys interviewed, and they're good candidates. Don't get me wrong. John Becker at Vermont, James Jones at Yale, Matt Langle at Colgate. They're all in the mix. The surprising one, little bit, is Eric Conko at Tulsa, but he was at Miami with Blake James when Blake James was at Miami too. So those are the guys kind of that my sources tell me are involved at Boston College. But again, Blake, just go down to North Andover, Massachusetts, go throw a term sheet on the desk of Joey Gallo. He's not going to complain about the lack of resources. He'll be able to do more with less, which is what he's done at Merrimack, and go hire the dude.
Yeah, I will say, for the audience at home, don't misrepresent it. You grew up in Framingham.
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 Not Framingham.
You're a Framingham.
Not Framingham.
You're a
Framingham.
Framingham guy. You're a Framingham
Get it
guy.
straight. Get it straight.
You're a
Gotta
Framingham
pronounce
guy.
it right.
I don't think Blake James needs to listen to a Framingham guy.
You
He
don't.
needs a real.
He's
he
right.
needs a real
He's right.
Boston guy.
Okay.
You know.
You're not
No, I
Boston,
think
Goodman.
Yeah, you're not Boston.
Not
You're
Boston.
Framingham.
I'm definitely not Boston. I'm not Boston.
All right. Well, I know you got to get back to Framingham, so thanks for being with us tonight.
No, I'm
You've done a
getting to
great job this
Nashville.
week.
I'm getting back. I'm getting an early flight tomorrow morning. I'm gonna get some sleep here, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. From what? What do we need, Dagan? Must be. Well, I'm gonna get like 3 hours. So are you kidding?
Tell him what time
Don't
your
even
flight
go to
is. Tell him
sleep.
what time your
Don't
flight
even
is.
go to
full
sleep.
night's sleep. My flight's at like 6:30.
Don't
Wake
even
up
go to
at like
sleep.
4:30.
That's what time Trev and I go to bed. So we'll make sure you get to your flight on time.
All right. We'll see you. We'll see you in the state of
You
Tennessee
also don't have to
tomorrow,
look pretty, Dagan. You also don't have to look pretty like I look on camera.
man. Exactly right. Have a great night, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Get rid of him.
All right.
Let's go,
Now,
John.
before we-
It's time to preview some games, baby.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get out of that this week with Dauster, but apparently not. But these are fun. These are what? Not, are they all conference championship? Are they tournament championship games? We don't
So
have all
there's.
title.
I want to do UConn St. John's. We got to talk Arizona Houston. We got to talk Duke Virginia. And then my favorite bet, the line's actually moved. It opened at 6.5 and now it's 8.5, is Florida. So wherever you want to start, you tell me where you want to start and we'll work our way through this thing.
Well, let's do round 3. Let's do the rubber match, right? UConn St. John's. I mean, we talked about this being this was the only way the Big East tournament was going to end, right? UConn St. John's, and that's what we're getting tomorrow. Do we have a number on that at BetMGM yet?
Yeah, it looks like 2.5. UConn's favored.
Ooh, that
which
is going to be a war.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first, that's going to be a war. I can't wait. I got to say, the Big East tournament was mostly a dud, but I think it's going to produce a hellacious title game.
Well, this is what it's been building towards is this matchup, right? Like this is what everybody was waiting for. This is what everybody wanted. Georgetown made a little bit of a run and picked off Villanova on, I guess it was last night. What is today? It's almost Saturday. It's officially Saturday now. Yeah. So
Saturday,
Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night, Georgetown picked off Villanova, which was an upset, and Seton Hall, I thought they'd give St. John's a little bit of a fight, but this is what the Big East has been the entire season. It's been those top 2 teams. It's been Dan Hurley, it's been Rick Pitino, it's been St. John's, it's been UConn. The first time that they played, it was the Zuby Ejiofor show. He was the best player on the floor. He looked like the Big East player of the year, which he ended up winning. And he finished with, I want to say it was like 17, 10, 7 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals. Second time that they played, Terrace Reed looked like the best player on the floor. Was dominant, 20 points, 11 boards, 6 blocks. UConn ran stuff for him the entire first half. They were able to get Zuby kind of out of a rhythm, got him to the bench, and they just ran away with that thing. Once it started, like the avalanche hit, St. John's was kind of like, all right, well, I guess we don't have it tonight, and rolled over and put up 40 points in a game. I think they missed their wasn't it the last 24 shots, the last 17 minutes of the game, they didn't make a shot. So I think what this is going to come down to is 2 things. One, it's going to be the battle of the paint, right? Like who wins that matchup? Is Terrace Reed going to be able to get a position? Is he going to be able to establish inside? Is he going to be able to get Zuby Ejiofor in foul trouble, or is it going to go the other way? Because those two fighting against each other, it's like it's what is it? An unstoppable force against an immovable object. Who wins? That's what what we're going to find out tomorrow. And the other part of it is the game flipped in the second half in the Garden because Dylan Darling was able to climb up in Silas Demery and force him to commit 9 turnovers. And half of those turnovers led to wide open layups at the other end of the floor. And it just turned into something where you could tell it was a little bit in Silas's head. And final score was 9. You got 4 layups out of fast breaks there. It completely changed the game, what Dylan Darling was able to do. How does Silas Demery operate against the ball pressure? And how does Zuby Ejiofor is he able to take advantage of Terrace Reed and pull him away from the basket and do some of the stuff that he does best? So I think that's what it's going to determine. I think everything else kind of evens out, right? Like you got shooters on UConn that are streaky. You got shooters on St. John's that are streaky. St. John's loves getting to the glass. UConn is one of the best rebounding teams in the country. They're both defend. They're both tough. They're both physical. They both have coaches that are somewhere between geniuses and complete lunatics. So I don't know. Where do you stand on it? Because I'm going to say right now that UConn being favored by 2.5 is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Because
I think you've seen scarier things than that.
True. I have seen Jeff Goodman.
You've seen Jeff Goodman. You know, you've got 2 kids. I assume you were in the room for the birth.
Yes.
That
was that was a lot.
I'm just saying,
that was a lot.
It's a beautiful thing, but you never forget it, you know? So, I mean, I picked St. John's. We were doing these previews on Wednesday, and why am I going to, go away from that now? Do I have a good reason? Not really. I mean, I just think this UConn team has just been, they've done what they've had to do for the most part this season. But I don't know. I just had a feeling about St. John's coming to this tournament, and I'm going to roll with it. So, I mean, that's the best I got. But again, it's a pick 'em basically. UConn's a short favorite here. It's the Big East final, So it should be. This is the game I'm probably looking most forward to tomorrow, though. I'd say that, because it's got so much history. It's the third meeting. Like this game is going to be insanely physical. I certainly feel for the officials in this one. Because
the hardest part of it to me is that I do feel like it's going to come down to who gets in foul trouble, which of those two, because it's impossible for Zuby Ejiofor and Terrace Reed to play against each other and not have fouls get called, because they are just like that's just what the game's going to end up being. So I hope that we don't get any dumb fouls from, like, the one thing Terrace Reed does really, really well is commit dumb fouls, right? Like it's undisciplined stuff. It's a reach here where he shouldn't be reaching. It's a gamble here where he shouldn't gamble. Don't do that. Stay on your feet. If you're able to do that, then I think that UConn's got it. I mean, look, don't get in foul trouble if you're Terrace Reed. Establish him inside. Don't turn the ball over if you're Silas Demery, and allow him to be able to get those paint touches. And if UConn can do those two things, UConn will win. If St. John's can keep them from doing those things, St. John's will win. That's how I kind of handicap this.
Yep, fair enough. All right, let's go to Florida and Vandy. Florida gets past Kentucky. A little closer probably than not as close as probably the score indicated. Florida was in pretty good control of that one for the entire game. And this Vandy team, a big win for them, beating Tennessee. Nate Ament comes back. They get the win anyway, 75-68. So I think that's quite impressive for them. But Rob, man, I just feel like this is just going to be a nightmare for Vandy, man. I really do. I feel like this is going to be a nightmare matchup for them, and what they're going to, have to deal with these cutting bigs. I just don't know how they're going to stop it.
Yeah, I said it in the segment that we did on the Kentucky-Florida game really quickly, but I think Florida's the best rim team in college basketball, right? Defensively, they keep you from being able to finish around the basket because they got Ruben Chinyelu down there, and they're really good on the defensive glass, and you can't get offensive rebounds, and they got so much length. They protect the rim. And on the other end of the floor, they pound the offensive glass so hard, and they are able to kind of finish up above the rim with some of their big guys. And, when you got Micah Hanlogden coming off the bench, I think that really says a lot about what you are as a team. And if there's a knock on this Vanderbilt program, it is that they don't have the size. They just don't, right? And it's across their front line. Their centers aren't the size of SEC centers. Their forwards aren't the size of SEC forwards. Their guards aren't the size of SEC guards. And against a lot of teams, you're going to be able to survive that. I just don't think it's possible for them to be able to survive that against a Florida team that has figured out how to be able to guard, figure out how to be able to force turnovers. That line went from 6.5 to 8.5 in like that. So if you can still get it at 8.5, I will probably take that. I like that line up to, like, I don't even know if there's a line high enough that you can set that I wouldn't take Florida at this point. So I think that ends up being a what's Goodman's favorite line? A molly-whopping. And I know Duke Miles is back, and he's been awesome since he's been back. But I don't know. Are you with me?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I said before this tournament started. I mean, Florida was minus 185 in this SEC tournament to win it, and it's just like and now Alabama's out, so the 2 seed's gone. Not that I think they matched up with them very well anyway. It's like, who do I fear? Of who's left? Who do I fear to take down Florida? Nobody in this league matches up with Florida, mostly because there's maybe only 4 or 5 teams in the country that match up well with Florida. But it just so happens that none of those teams plays in the SEC. And Vandy, damn sure ain't one of them. Damn sure ain't one of them.
I have a crazy stat for you. You ready for this? It's a crazy stat. Since the loss to Auburn, right? The only team that has been able to stay within single digits of Florida is Kentucky. Kentucky's played them 3 times, and every single time it's been like the same game script, right? Where Florida gets up early, Kentucky fights back, but there's never any real game pressure, right? They lost by 9 at home. They lost by 7 at Gainesville, and they lost by 8 in the SEC tournament. I don't think Vandy has the build to be able to hang with them. I think they're going to get run out of the gym.
Yep. Agreed. All right, let's hit your so Florida was your favorite bet, right? Florida was your favorite bet of the day tomorrow or today.
Yep.
All right, let's talk ACC championship game. We both agreed on Wednesday when we were previewing this that we liked Virginia to win. I mean, Luke Laux almost did it. He almost pulled it off. Had a shot there from Robert McCray to pull it off as a 17-point underdog. And then Duke survives, handily take care of Clemson earlier tonight, and it is going to be Duke and Virginia. And Virginia is a big dog in this one, Rob. They're 8.5-point dogs at BetMGM. Do we still feel confident about our pre-tournament pick of Virginia to win the ACC tournament?
I feel good about it. Like I think that here's the way that I would phrase it. I will be betting Virginia plus 8.5. I think that is a good line to be on. I just think Virginia matches up so well with Duke. And one of the things that they struggled with the first time that they played was that Pat Ngangba and Cam Boozer were able to kind of physically impose their will in the paint. And like Virginia, what makes them good is they were the best shot blocking team in the country. I think they're top 5 in shot blocking in the country. And Testa Ritter is physical and is kind of does the same thing Cam Boozer does, just not quite as good as Cam Boozer. So without Ngangba, I think that changes who they are, right? And Malik Brown, as good as he's been, you're just not as physical in the paint when you have Malik Brown versus when you have Pat Ngangba there. And then throw in the fact that you're losing your best paint touch point guard. Now, Caden Boozer, to his credit, we talked about last night that Caden Boozer kind of struggled. They were dorking him. They weren't guarding him. They were daring him to shoot threes, and it got in his head for about the first maybe 30 minutes. He made a couple really big plays late in that game, John. And then today he was terrific. I think he finished with 16 points, made some big shots, had some tough buckets, was able to set the tone early by getting to the paint and finishing over the rim. So I think that it'll be interesting to see how Caden Boozer handles this championship game. But I think Duke at the end of the day probably does win, but I'm 8.5 is too many points, right? I feel like that's too many points. My question to you is, how do I hedge this? What do I do? Because I want to be on Virginia plus 8.5 as well as having the money line. But is it worth it if I'm already going to be on the Virginia money line? Should I just take Duke to make sure that I get a little bit of profit out of this?
No, there's no way to hedge this when Duke's laying 8.5. You can't hedge this, and you certainly can't hedge it if you want the points too. You're cooked, man. You're cooked.
Should I hope that Virginia gets out to an early lead and then take the Duke money line for something small if maybe I get a good price? I think that's probably
but let me ask you this: why are you being such a bitch?
That's a good question too.
I mean,
it's a good question too.
If Virginia
you know what, you're right. You're right. I had it before the tournament started. I'm going to ride it again. I'm going to double down by taking Virginia plus 8.5. So that if in this scenario that Duke wins small, that's my hedge. Virginia plus 8.5 is my hedge. So that way, if they win,
it's not really a hedge, but
and if I don't win, no, that's my hedge. That's how you hedge.
It's not really a hedge. It's more of a doubling down, but that's fine. That's fine. Because here's the thing: you got Wisconsin 25-1. So you could and
that's gonna hit too.
If they None of it's gonna hit, but that's fine.
None of it's
That's
gonna
why. That's why we play the game. Do we want? Is there anything else we need to hit before we get out of here?
Yeah, there's
Arizona, Houston, right?
there's a top 5 matchup tomorrow. There's a top 5 matchup tomorrow. What are we doing, John?
Yeah,
What are we
Arizona,
doing?
Houston. This is the title game, correct?
Yes.
Title game, Big 12 title game. Arizona, Houston. Houston just waxes Kansas, and it was never competitive. And then, of course, Arizona coming off of that, amazing game. Took everything from both teams. Jaden Bradley, game winner. Again, this is if I felt better about Houston, and look, they did a great job on Kansas defensively tonight. I think, like Goodman said, held them to like 19% shooting in the second half. But it's just been a little bit of a drop-off for them defensively this year. Again, the bar was so damn high. They're top 1, they're top 2, the last couple of years. If I felt a little bit better about them defensively, I'd be all over Houston in this one. But I just think Arizona is a team that I'm not fading right now. Not tomorrow, and probably not at any point in the tournament.
Not in 2.5. And I can't remember if me and you discussed this. Like I talk so much on this freaking network that I don't remember who I actually say things to or where I say them. But my concern with Houston, like big picture, is just that they're a team that relies a little bit too heavily on off the dribble jump shots for my personal taste when it comes to being a real title contender in a year where we have this many good teams. And I think that is Arizona is a team that you can't really do that against, because one, they have 2 really, really good perimeter defenders in Jaden Bradley and Braden Burries. Ivan Karchinkov is maybe what the best defender. He's up there among the best defenders in the Big 12. And Mateus Krivas is just a monster in the paint. Like, they are, for people listening, they're similar to what like Ryan Kalkbrenner was last year with Creighton, where they just kind of funnel everybody into the paint. And he's so damn good at just being 7'2", 260 and in the right spot and standing straight up. Like that's a skill to be able to be in the right spot at that size and just kind of get in the way. Like, he doesn't put up great shot blocking numbers, but he's just he's the anchor of their defense because he's so good at being where the offense wants to be. And I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And I think that when you have a guy like that and you're coming off some of these ball screens and he's able to make you have to think about taking a jump shot over him, and then you have Jaden Bradley kind of trailing and contesting the shot, like that's a recipe to me for something that will kind of make this Houston team struggle. And the line only being 2.5, that's almost to the point, John, where and the UConn line is like this for me a little bit too, but it's almost to the point where that just feels too trappy. Like, BetMGM wants me to sit here and put money on Arizona because they know something about this Houston team. Maybe they know that Kingston Flemings is now playable. Do you think that's what it is? Does BetMGM know?
No,
do they know that Kingston Flemings is finally playable?
I don't. I think this is going to close higher than 2.5. I think if you like Houston, you'll be able to get a 3. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Again, this is you're in. I'll just say this for the bettors out there that watch this show. This is March 14th, 2026. The season is coming to an end rapidly. These are the most efficient numbers you're going to get, okay? So there's not going to be a lot of value. These openers are going to be very, very close to correct. With that being said, if I'm betting this, it's going to be Arizona minus 2.5. I mean, again, I think if you like Houston at 3, you can probably get that by tip. But it's not going to go. Listen, it's not going to go to Arizona minus 1. It's not going to go to Houston plus 4. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be pretty close to. It's not going to deviate too much from what it is right now. So again, anything can happen in a 40-minute game.
You say that, and then we just saw the Florida line open at 6.5 and immediately go to 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bad opener. I mean, again, sometimes that does happen. This one is not. This feels correct directionally. We agree with that. I mean, what would you make it? What would you say Arizona should? I might even say Arizona should be. I might have opened it at 3.
Yeah, I probably would have opened it a little bit higher. Like, I think Arizona should be a little bit of a heavier favorite in this match.
Right. Now, the argument would be what it took for Arizona to win. Like, that's probably a little draining, right? That it took making so many different shots and surviving that, whereas Houston was kind of on cruise control. for the entirety of the game.
That's a fair point.
You know, that would be an argument for Houston. So I don't know.
You know what the other argument is too? The other argument is too, like the reason why it took that much from Arizona is because Iowa State made tough shot after tough jump shot after tough jump shot after tough jump shot. And what does Houston do? Shoot a whole bunch of tough jump shots. So maybe Arizona just can't guard tough jump shots anymore. Maybe they forgot.
I think they just live with those, you know, and know that they shoot 87.8% from two, and you know, they'll survive. So and then what else? We got Purdue, UCLA. We want to hit that before we get out of here. You want to hit all these or what?
We talked about that. We already got a preview segment from the Big Ten earlier. We talked about it. We didn't necessarily touch on the line, but do you have a take on that? Like, do you have a feel?
I mean, without Bilodeau, I'm laying it with Purdue.
Yeah, I think I probably would do the same. And then with Michigan and Wisconsin, 12.5 just seems like so many points for the Wisconsin team is playing the way they're playing.
You want to talk about inviting action and inviting bets on Wisconsin, right? That's 12.5. That's inviting action. Like go ahead and take the 12.5. I dare you. I dare you to do it. They don't give out charity here.
No, they don't. They don't. But I mean, Michigan, they've been in a couple battles of late, right? Like they were in a battle at Iowa, and they were in a battle against Michigan State, and they were in a battle against Ohio State in the first round of this tournament. So I kind of like the 12.5. Like I think that's where I need to be. You know what I'm gonna end up doing? I'm gonna end up betting. I have the Wisconsin future, so I'm going to end up betting Wisconsin. I have the Virginia future, and then I'm going to end up betting Virginia, and then Duke's going to win by 28, and Michigan's going to win by 42. And I'm going to just be sitting right over there on press row here at the ACC tournament, just my head in my hands, like why do I like setting money on fire? Why do I like donating to BetMGM?
Connor needs to put together a graphic for tomorrow of everything Dauster has. Like Wisconsin to win the Big Ten tournament. What else is it? Virginia to win the ACC tournament. Virginia +8. And like, I hope it doesn't happen, but let's just watch it go full fade. Let's just watch every single one of those lose. That's what we got to do. We got to get that from Connor so we can follow along with you tomorrow and sweat with Dauster.
Yep. Last thing, I just want to make sure that we hit on. We had a bunch of title games tomorrow. 11 a.m. Vermont UMBC in the America East Championship game. We got Howard and NC Central in the MEAC Championship game. And then a bunch of stuff later on that night. We have Utah State will be playing the winner of San Diego State and New Mexico, who are playing right now in a playout game on the bubble. So that's a potential bid steal situation going on there. Prairie View, A&M, and Southern in the SWAC tournament title game. Toledo and Akron, which is already a bid stealer there. It'd be great to see Akron make it because of how good they've been. That is a tournament title game. Kennesaw State will be playing Louisiana Tech in the Conference USA Championship game. And then also the WAC tournament final and the Big West tournament final will be played. UC Irvine and Utah Valley have advanced to those. The other games are just finishing up right now as we speak. So Utah Tech, it looks like, Cal Baptist is up by 6 on Utah Tech. And Hawaii is up by 13. So Hawaii will advance to the Big West Tournament Championship game. So we got a whole bunch of bids getting punched tomorrow, man. I love conference tournament Saturday. I love seeing give me a winner. Give me a game winner in one of those mid-major championship games. Like, just is that too much to ask, John? Just one game winner for an NCAA tournament bid.
You got a game winner in and I know it wasn't the championship, but a game winner in that Big 12 semi like that from Jaden Bradley is about as good as it gets. In that game, don't get too greedy.
I still can't believe that game played out the way that it played out. What a basketball game! What a game, Wisconsin, Illinois. What a fucking day of basketball we got, John. What a day of basketball.
What a privilege and an honor to be talking about basketball on this network. Absolutely, and we'll be doing it all weekend and throughout the month of March. And as soon as the season is over and we crown a champ next month, we're going to be doing transfer portal. So the fun hasn't really even begun yet on Field of 68. Keep it locked here for the most comprehensive college basketball coverage in the galaxy. For Rob Dauster, for Jeff Goodman, for Mike LaTulip, I'm John Martin. Have a great night.